Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, British national charged for allegedly trying to smuggle millions of dollars into Jamaica in shampoo bottles. Jamaican authorities have filed criminal charges against the British national who allegedly tried to enter the country with over US $130,000, the equivalent of Jamaican $20 million, hidden in bottles labeled Head and Shoulders Anti-Dandruff Shampoo and Conditioner. Trevor White, 42, a musical artist and businessman, has been charged with possession of criminal property, cross-border movement of funds, and attempted bribery, the Financial Investigations Division disclosed in a statement on Monday. He was charged last Friday after a formal interview conducted in the presence of his attorney, Christian Ferginet, at the Freeport Police Station in St. James, according to the FID. White, who resides in Enfield, London, and White House in Westmoreland, was arrested at the Sanctuary International Airport, also in St. James, shortly after he arrived in the country on May 1 on a Virgin Atlantic flight from London. According to the FID, he was selected for routine inspection after he entered the Nothing to Declare Customs channel. The agency reported that during the scanning of his luggage, abnormalities were detected, which prompted a physical search. It alleged that the search revealed 3 suspicious bottles labeled as Head and Shoulders Anti-Dandruff Shampoo and Conditioner. An examination of the bottles revealed a total of US $130,490 concealed in plastic wrap, according to the FID. White allegedly attempted to bribe Jamaica Customs Agency officers, encouraging them to take 2 of the packages and allow him to leave with the remainder of the money. According to the FID, he claimed that the funds were legitimate earnings from musical performances and were intended to support business activities in Jamaica. However, he was unable to provide evidence of the lawful source of the funds. The method of concealment, coupled with the attempt to evade disclosure, prompted immediate seizure of the cash and referral of the case to the FID for investigation, the agency charged. He remains in police custody. Keith Darian, Principal Director of Investigations at the FID, said the case highlights the importance of collaboration and the strategic partnerships between the FID and the local law enforcement partners, such as the police and the JCA. Darian indicated, too, that the agency will continue to work closely with international partners to stem the flow of illicit funds and ensure accountability under the law. The concealment of cash in shampoo bottles, coupled with an attempted bribe, underscores the sophisticated tactics that individuals use to bypass established financial systems, he said. However, Darian said the FID remains vigilant and resolute in its efforts to disrupt illicit activities that threaten Jamaica's financial system and international reputation. Bail extended for TikToker 119, who is charged with malicious communication. The case against the popular TikToker 119, who is charged with malicious communication over social media posts made about a St. Catherine woman, was today postponed in the parish court as the file was not complete and he lacked legal representation. The accused, whose given name is Milton Ray, who is out on bail, was ordered to return to court on Friday. I have an attorney. He told me that he would have made himself, but at the last minute, he said that he would not be available, Ray told the parish court judge Janelle Nelson Gale. When asked how did he plead, he replied saying he was vehemently not guilty. In outlining the allegations, the clerk of court stated that on March 22, the accused and the complainant went out to an entertainment event, and afterwards he allegedly invited her to his home. She reportedly refused. It is further alleged that on March 29, he warned the woman that he was going to disgrace her. The court heard that on March 30, Ray posted her picture on social media with alleged defamatory remarks. The woman made a report to the police, and an investigation was launched by the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch, which resulted in Ray being charged with malicious communication. he was granted $400,000 station bail with a surety. Cyclist killed in St. Anne crash. A pedal cyclist died from injuries he received in a collision with a motorcycle on the larger main road in Exchange, Oteria, St. Anne. The deceased is 38-year-old Kemar Saman, a lifeguard of Mile End in the parish. It is reported that about 11:05 a.m., Mr. Saman and the motorcyclist were traveling in opposite directions when they collided while negotiating a corner at the intersection of Mile End and the larger main road. Both men were seriously injured and assisted to the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital, where Mr. Saman was pronounced dead. The rider of the motorcycle was admitted. 18 students injured in St. Elizabeth bus collision. 18 students were taken to the Black River Hospital in St. Elizabeth with varying injuries following a two-vehicle collision along the Holland Bamboo Main Road on Monday morning. The injuries are not considered life-threatening. 14 of the students are from Hampton School and 4 from Monroe College. According to the police, about 7 o'clock, a Toyota coaster bus transporting the students was traveling in an easterly direction towards Santa Cruz when a Toyota Noah traveling in the opposite direction was overtaken and made a contact with the coaster. The driver of the coaster bus said the Toyota Noah had a near miss with another motorist before colliding with his vehicle. The police say speeding was the cause of the crash. The driver of the Toyota Noah is being questioned. Pastor to spend a year in prison for punching stepson repeatedly. A St. Catherine-based pastor who pleaded guilty to cruelty to a child was sentenced to 12 months imprisonment on Monday, while his co-accused, his wife, has been remanded until Friday. The court was told that in February 2024, the pastor went to the school of the 7-year-old complainant, who is his stepson, grabbed him and punched him repeatedly. The matter was reported to the police and the probe launched, which resulted in the arrest and the charge of the pastor. His wife was subsequently charged with negligence for failing to report the matter. When the matter came up in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Monday, Judge Janelle Nelson Gale told the pastor that it was a violent act and the sentence must reflect that. The pastor was then ordered to serve the custodial sentence. Sentencing of his wife, who has also pleaded guilty to the charge against her, was put off until Friday. Judge rules against admissibility of JCF policy document in Mario Dean case. The presiding judge in the trial of the 3 cops charged with the incident in which Mario Dean was fatally beaten while in police custody in 2014 has ruled against the admissibility of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Lockup Administration Policy and the Procedures document. The document deals with the treatment and welfare of people taken into custody up to the point of their release. The Crown had tried on numerous occasions in the past to have the document admitted into evidence without success. Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day had reserved a judgment on the matter. As promised on Friday, the outstanding matter was the first thing that was addressed by Day on Monday. The lawyer representing 2 of the accused cops, Martin Thomas, argued that the document cannot be authenticated. We further submit that the document is an abstract from the internet and has not been properly authenticated as a genuine police document that has been certified, stated Thomas in his submission to the court. Citing the testimony from 2 police personnel earlier in the trial, Zone Commander for Barnett Street Police Station in 2014, DSP Kevin Francis, and the sub-officer on duty, Corporal Orville Williams, the Crown contended that evidence put forward by the 2 men captures that the policy is known and was shared with others. However, Justice Day in his ruling noted that something more is needed for the document taken from the internet to be admissible. They noted that while the document is relevant, verification is needed. The ruling of the court can only be in one way. We will not admit this document marked C, which was taken from the internet, as a document and has not been authenticated, stated Justice Day. The judge in his ruling made clear that the ruling of the court is not a statement about whether or not the prosecution has established a duty of care. The ruling of the court has cleared the way for the Crown to commence its submission to the jury for consideration in deciding the case. The three accused are Corporal Elaine Stewart and the District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Cleavon, all of whom are charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office. The allegations in the case are that Dean was arrested for possession of a ganja spliff and placed in custody, where he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. He sustained severe injuries to his brain, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It is alleged that the three cops were on duty at the police station when Dean was beaten. It is further alleged that Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.